Okay, stand by everyone. Stand by. James Cole, are you there, bud?
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay,
Hello.
Kick us off,
Should
mate.
I start?
Yeah.
Ty, how are you feeling? What's it like this week, waiting to get the news on selection?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, thanks. It's nervous, isn't it? Everyone's a little bit on edge. Suppose we're into the nitty gritty of the tour now, and I think it means a lot to people. So I think everyone's just kind of waiting to see how it pans out, or if you're in or out.
And is that tangible around the camp? That nervousness?
Yeah, you can feel it a small bit. Yeah, definitely from this morning, just a small bit of mood. There is that bit of nervousness there. Yeah.
And how are you feeling about your chances and how you've performed so far?
You don't know really. You don't know what the coaches are thinking. I think the rest of the tie heads have played very, very well, and it's up in the air. See how we go.
Do you feel you've put your best foot forward though in the opportunities you've had?
Yes and no. I think as a player, you're searching for perfection, but you think you always want a little bit more out of your game. And yeah, I think there's a small bit more in games I could have done, or a few little mistakes that I did do, and but that's part of playing rugby, isn't it? So as I said, we'll just see how it goes.
And you started all 3 games with Rory Sutherland. Is there a partnership forming there? What does he bring, and how do you find scrummaging and working alongside him?
Yeah, look, and especially for a front row, it's time in the saddle with each other, really. So I like to think I have a good understanding with Rory. We've played with the 3 hookers as well. So in the short weeks like that, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to get everyone up on the same page. But yeah, I've definitely feel comfortable scrummaging with Rory, yeah.
And against the Springboks, it's always a physical battle. They always try and impose themselves up front. We know that. Do you feel you've got the credentials, the qualities to match that?
Well, it's a huge challenge for us, isn't it? And it's so ingrained in their DNA, that kind of scrum dominance, the maul dominance, and it's a huge challenge for whatever forward pack and whatever subs are selected. So it's one of the great things about playing Test series in South Africa, that, and I think the lads will be hugely up for it.
Are you up for it? Are you excited by the prospect if it happens?
Yeah, of course. Who wouldn't? Be absolutely, yeah.
And can I just ask you about Alan Wynne-Jones? What's he brought since he came into the camp, both on and off the field?
Just presence, isn't it? He hasn't spoken a massive amount, but I suppose, look, he has so many games of rugby. He's over 150 test caps. He's been around the game a long time. He's his 4th Lions tour, so he knows what it's about, and his presence around the place is a huge lift. And it's some story, to be fair to him, to do what he's after doing. So fair dinkum to him.
When you've done what he's done, played as much Test rugby as he has and Lions tours, does it matter that he's light on game time at Test level? Does that matter?
No, everyone's different in terms of that, isn't it? So I suppose he knows himself and his body better than anyone, but he knows how to play rugby, doesn't he? He knows the mental side of the game, and I'm sure he'll be ripping and raring to go as well.
And captaincy on the first Test, how important is that going to be, that role?
Look, I suppose it's important in any team, isn't it? How you, I suppose, communicate with refs and guide people around the thing. But I think there's a lot of strong leaders within the group, coming from not only club captains or club leadership groups, but international captains and international leadership groups as well. So there's so much experience out there.
And just finally, for me, do you know when you'll find out about the team? Have they given you any idea when and how you'll find out?
No, I presume it'll be in the team meeting. When, we're not too sure. We're trained this afternoon. If it's before then, we don't know. If not, probably, we'll probably find out before tomorrow, I would guess.
Good luck. Thank you.
No problem.
From Talk Sports. There's lots of talk about some of the games on tour so far have been relatively straightforward for the Lions, but I've never yet heard of a team from South Africa that doesn't fancy themselves in the scrum. What's it been like for the front row guys?
Yeah, it's pretty much that, isn't it? You know, you're coming against a passionate crew that, you know, take pride in their work and their art at scrum time. And, you know, yes, we're not playing the Springboks. Yes, we're playing the provincial teams or, you know, the franchises there. But, you know, they still take massive pride in their scrum and they're still big men. So, you know, it's been tough. It's been a good workout for us. It's been a good challenge. And, you know, as I said, it's trying to get, you know, on the same page very, very quickly, and getting the feel of the scrum right really would be a big thing for me because, you know, it does take time to create a bit of partnership.
On that, front row's actually got a decent amount of continuity from the 2017 tour compared to some other parts of the squad. Does it actually feel like you guys started from maybe a few squares up the board compared to some of the other positions?
Yeah, look, maybe from the small chats point of view, isn't it? You kind of know how they work or, you know, how they view the scrum, and a lot changes in 4 years, doesn't it? So, but I'd say from the personal point of view of being able to chat to a person or know them at a deeper level than just talking straight business on day one, it makes it a little bit easier.
How good are the Springboks up front? Seeing quotes from their former prop, Robbie Kempson, over the weekend saying he's a bit concerned about their lack of depth.
Yeah, you look at the squad they have. I know they had a few issues with COVID or, you know, self-isolation there, but you have the, you know, the bones of a, you know, a World Cup winning front row, and we all know what they did at the World Cup there. And, you know, they have some players that, you know, haven't played against us in the A games, and that'll be coming back in, and, you know, they're very, very dangerous operators.
3 of your first 8 international appearances were against South Africa, but the last time you played the Springboks was November of 2017. Does that present any issues for you?
That's good homework. Look, at the end of the day, it's no different really what you do week in, week out. If you're playing New Zealand, Australia, it's just to run the way the dice rolls. And look, the lads have played against some of the props already with the A team. We've played against their club team. So, you know, there's a bit of a trend or developing there. And obviously the video work that you do can put you in a good stead going into a game.
Nick Berry is the referee on Saturday. Aussies and Kiwis tend to view the scrum more as a restart. Does that change things? Does that change any of the approach for the weekend?
Look, there's been stuff coming out from, you know, World Rugby on, you know, the scrum and the way they want it, our teams to scrummage. So, you know, we try to do that as best we can. Outside that, you know, we have an opportunity to chat to the referee before the game and you know, to see or try to align what we're trying to do, what hopefully he sees at the weekend or in the game. So, as always, I think you have to look at yourself first before trying to manage referees.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you? It's Michael Horkin here. I'm just wondering when the team, when the 23 is selected, I assume there'll be a little bit of this sort of tension gone out of the place. How important is it that you try and stay as relaxed and focused as you can and not play the match too early in your head or let your match or your mind kind of drift ahead towards the weekend?
It's massive, isn't it? And, you know, it'll be good to get it out there whenever it is named and let lads deal with it the way, you know, they deal with it. As I said, there are a lot of experienced players in the group here, and, you know, it's a test match. We're back to a full week's prep, which feels a lot more normal to all the players here, and then we can just get on with our work really. And when it's time to switch off and enjoy each other's company, we can do that too.
Given the fact, as you described it as a test match, you're against the world champions, you're against a world-class front row and reserves on the bench as well. I mean, is this the kind of ultimate test from a rugby playing point of view?
Yeah, it's big boy rugby, isn't it? It's top end rugby, and, you know, as a front five, it's a very good barometer where we're at.
And just from your own point of view, not alone can you prop, but you can now run pretty fast and pass as well. Is that other parts of your game that you've been working on for the last while?
Yeah, I remember during lockdown there, there's a lot of Lions game on. There was a lot of Lions at 2017 tour on, and you kind of look back and you think of, I'm not doing a whole lot in the game. You're working hard, yes, you're kick chasing, you're working hard on the inside and defence, but there's not a whole lot much more going on other than the set piece and trying to hit rucks hard. And I'd like to think that, I've added a bit more to my game there, and I'm certainly not there at where I can be with some of the aspects of my game. But I think that's part of a rugby player, isn't it? You're always trying to push it on or drive on and get that a little bit better.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Hi, Tadhg. Sinead here in Virgin Media. How are you? Corky asked you there about, is this the ultimate test? We know how dominant they are and how strong they are in the maul and the scrum, but do these kind of games, do you feel, even as unique as they are, bring out the best in you as well?
Yeah, like Sinead says, like, it's big boy rugby, and it's at a big stage, and you can feel that around the place. You can feel that it's a big week and it has a lot of importance on it. And I think as rugby players, people generally rise to those occasions, and just that internal want to win and do well.
Can I just ask you about Conor Murray as well? Obviously, as a Ireland teammate, how has he found the last few days? The captaincy going back to Alan Wynne-Jones after him getting it. What's he been like?
Actually, a lot of people know him, and he's very laid back, isn't he? He's near horizontal at times and off the pitch. So, it's water on a duck's back to him. He was delighted. He was at Limerick won the Munster hurling championship again, and he was in cloud nine there.
And just finally, for me, you mentioned there means different things to different people playing in these kind of tests. Like, what does it mean to you? What would it mean to you to play on Saturday?
Actually, it means so much, not to get personal about it, but I've been through, a rough enough year with injury and stuff like that. And I suppose there's always a light at the end of the tunnel where, why are you doing it? You're doing it to try to go on a Lions tour, aren't you? And, to try to do something special as a group of players. And, that means a lot.
Good luck. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, Tadhg, how's it going? What's the crack with you being a DJ now?
It's over-egged, to be honest with you, really. Long and short of it is Tom Curry found decks. They brought a lot of stuff over here for us, just to keep us entertained, obviously, with the hotel and stuff like that. So Tom Curry found decks and decided he wanted to be a DJ, and I was like, look, let's have a go, or a bit of crack, try to learn a new skill or what have you. And it went terribly. And then we found out Josh Navidi, or Navici as we're calling him, he actually is a DJ. He actually does a bit of DJing in clubs. So we tried to learn a little bit off him. We've done a coffee morning, heavily helped by Navici. And that's about it. We're terrible. I wouldn't be trying to sell any tickets or at night time soon.
Go well this week.
Hey, Tadhg, how you doing? You well? Jerry here.
I can hear you loud and clear, Jerry.
Good stuff. You made your first test start against the Box 5 summers ago. I've been a replacement in Cape Town. You started in Joburg. Have you changed much as a player and a person since then, do you think? And if so, in what ways?
Yeah, I'll probably come back to what I said earlier as well, just about, you're always trying to add strings to your bow. At that point, you're probably a deer in the headlights a small bit with terms of test rugby and what it meant. It was probably fairly green. And from a personal point of view as well, what was I 23 or 4 around that point, or 22 or 23? I suppose, look, you obviously mature a lot as well as a person, and since then. So I like to think I've developed a good bit since then.
Thanks, Mike.
Stephen Dunks here. There are 3 very, very fine hookers on this tour. I just wondered, as far as you're concerned, how different are they? And do you have to change your style up front, depending on which of the 3 is playing with you?
Not so much style, but just from a technical perspective, a small bit, of course, because it's even where your left hand or your binding hand on the hooker goes. just trying to get your shoulder position right through the left-hand side there. So there is a little bit of tweaking. Obviously, it's a very technical position, the front row, and as I said, trying to get the feel right with all of them, or where they bind on you, or what way we're trying to align, etc., etc. So it does take it takes a bit of conversation. It takes a few setups in the team room. It just takes a bit of feeling out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Last one,
I'm
Will.
Tadhg as well. Yeah. 4 years ago, what were your emotions like in the similar week with the tests looming? And can you kind of tap into that, knowing what you went through and working out who was going to get selected and stuff like that, and you were successful that time? Is that going to help you this time?
Who knows? Who knows? It's hard to put yourself back in those positions again, and I suppose it equally means as much to you now as it did then. And tapping into emotions. Hopefully, it's a short wait to find out, but time will tell.
Do you remember how you felt that week?
To be honest with you, I can't. I just remember being very nervous. Obviously to hear the team in the second. After we lost the first test, I remember being very nervous in the team meeting where you named team, obviously because you could kind of feel a few changes were coming, and we slipped up on 2 or 3 or 2 scrum penalties, I think, in that game. So you never know.
Thanks
Okay, good luck. Thanks, Tadhg.
Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you. Cheers, Tadhg.
All right, bud.
Thanks, Tadhg.